Hi, Twin Flames. It's Michelle, Queen of Justice, XOXO. I wanted to do a follow up since I'm now back on from my trips with my DM. We had two back to back. Glad I made it through. It was very fun, but more so challenging than anything else. So I kind of just wanted to go over some things that, came up during our trips and things that I need to continue working on. So our first trip was to Mexico, and of course I was a little, nervous. There was a lot of things going on, a lot of changes. But for the most part, it was a great trip. It was fun. I did have, several triggers. Mostly, this friend zone is it's very difficult for me. Well, friend zone plus is what I'm going to call it. Um, it's the unknown. It's the just uncomfortableness. It's not knowing. And, we have been in a relationship on and off for the past 9 years. So to be in this friend zone with questions, I just don't know what to do, what I can say and do, and that's difficult for me. And so I'm just having to let him lead and just going with the flow as he's asked me to do, and I am. But big triggers do come up, and as much as I'm appreciative that the DM is in my life, it's not easy. And sometimes I really do wish that I don't know, that I had done more of my inner self work before he came back. I really do feel like it would have been easier to really get that out of the way, um, because then I feel like you're dealing with it in the 5D. In the 3D, you have a physical person there. And when these triggers come, it's difficult, and it's very difficult for me not to respond and not to react. And I'm beyond impressed and proud of myself for not responding. And I mean, I just want to Queen of Swords him all the time, and that's what I used to do. And I haven't. I've stopped myself. I think on both trips actually, because then after got back from Mexico, the following week we then went to Colorado, and again several triggers, and didn't respond like I normally would. There was one night that um, he was drinking with my friends, and I mean they were drinking a lot, and it wasn't just him. It was my friend saying stuff that was triggering and saying things about our relationship. And at one point, I really wanted to just get up and walk away because I felt like whatever I was going to say was going to cause a fight between my DM and I didn't want that. But I'm a person who stands up for myself, and I'm just a fighter, and I didn't. I let her say her piece and let it move on to the next subject. But like I said, there was a couple times that the triggers were just unbearable, and I wanted to run away and hide. That night, our last night, unfortunately, in Colorado, I was very triggered and angry and upset and just not knowing where this is going. And I'm getting older, and I just don't want this for the rest of my life. I've worked way too hard. I don't deserve breadcrumbs, and I deserve more. And so I'm kind of to the point where, do I want a soulmate? I mean, is this journey worth it? I'm really have been detaching from him. Um, and in all honesty, I mean, I'm detached from him, and whatever happens, happens. I know my future holds good things. Can I sit here and say if he were to move on with somebody else, I'd be okay with that? No, probably not. So I'm just at a very odd spot of not knowing what to do, but all I can do is just work on my inner self. And I'm very proud of myself for what I've done. And thankfully, I'm so grateful to Erica from the E Spot. She continuously gives me guidance and continuously shows the work and the progress that she's doing with her inner self. She guided me to some amazing meditations that I don't know if I didn't have those that night. I kind of just listened to those all night and fell asleep, and it's what got me through that rough night of our last night on our trip. So I'm very grateful to her and all the guidance that she shows me, and to know that I can continue doing my work. And so I've just continued to do my inner work. The other thing that really came out in both of our trips, which, I mean, I've dealt with this before with him, it was just very prominent this time, was his anger. He was really showing a lot of anger, and not towards me, which, I mean, we fight hard, and I am used to that anger between him and I, but anger towards other people. And it was hard because the first trip I was with my daughter, she got upset with that anger, with how he was behaving. And then the second trip was with my older son, and he really got upset with the anger, and it really bothered them. And so, you know, I know where his anger is coming from. I know it's childhood wounds, and I know that it's can be repaired. I've seen huge progress with it so far. Um, but it's difficult with my children because they don't understand that, and I don't want to show them that behavior, then that behavior is okay. I basically just kind of had to tell them that that's his issues. And that's kind of how I've been dealing with him too, is just like, it was crazy. It's how I've been detaching, is like not taking on his stress, not worrying about it, not trying to tell him you can't behave that way. And, just kind of letting him figure it out for himself, and me not getting in the midst of it and causing just yet another fight with him. So that's been difficult with me to deal with my children. Although the anger was, there's just something there. I know that there's a twofold to it. One is, I believe the anger is almost like, that they say that dark was before the dawn, kind of situation. I think like that anger is just surfacing up for him to like see and get a reality. But I also feel like there's a lesson in there for me. So I'll get to that in a second for me. But for him, it was interesting because he had a couple days later, after we got back from vacation, he was at work on a huge argument with a coworker, and his boss had to get involved, and it was bad. I mean, how he did not get fired is beyond me. I mean, he had every archangel, the entire universe behind him. He should have gotten fired for what he was saying to his boss. That's how angry he was, and over the strangest thing too. But typically I would have been like, this is what I'm talking about. See, it's that anger of yours. And I would have been in his face, saying, basically, I'm right. Look at your anger. And I didn't. I just kind of just held back and said, wow. And could tell myself, it's not your fight. It's not your problem. You don't need to stress. You don't need to take that on. That's his. Let him have it. And maybe it's a lesson for him that he needs something big and something that's going to, like, a neutral party showing him that anger that might give him that aha moment, and because when I try and do that, all that does is trigger anger and a fight with him and I. So I said nothing but, wow, I just can't believe that happened. Wow, I just can't believe that happened. I just kept repeating that. And it was so crazy because then the next day, because we're in this friend zone, I don't get a lot of compliments lately from him like I used to back in our past. But, when he first came back, I was, and then there's a really kind of subsided, and I don't get compliments really anymore at all. But so I mean, it was just like compliment after compliment after I'm like, I didn't even know how to respond because it was just like, it was such a turnaround, and I'm like, where is this coming from? Being proud of me and telling me how, like, oh, don't work so hard, I know you always do anyways. And I mean, just like I said, just compliment after compliment after compliment. And it was great, but then I was struggling with like how to respond, because I'm like, do I respond like as a friend? Do I respond as our relationship is growing? I'm just gonna let it be and say thank you, So that's kind of how I handled that. Now for me, I knew there was a lesson in there for me, and I've been trying to ask a lot of people in the community, and a lot of people who don't really understand the inner self work kind of was just like, it's not your responsibility, and which is true. I can't fix him, but there's, us as twin flames, we're very connected. So there's more to it than just me fixing him. But I knew there was a lesson there for me as well. And I kept asking myself, it's like, I'm really happy, and I'm really, really in my bliss. I know I have more bliss to come, absolutely. But I'm just really happy where I am at with myself. And take him out of the equation, I'm happy. And just trying to live my bliss every moment of the day, and being in the now, and really working with my inner self. But what I finally got out of that lesson was, I still have anger deep down inside me that I keep very well contained and protected, I think, on the inside. I don't see it, but it does rear its ugly head, and it pops out, and it's kind of funny because I've been, asking, what is this lesson? What is this lesson? I'm happy, and I'm dancing, I'm having a great time, and I'm enjoying it in work, and And then I get in traffic and I'm just like, it's so bad. You stupid idiot, get out of the way. I got somewhere to be, move. That's my whole commute, and I'm just like, wow, Michelle, okay. Not so angelic, not so blissful, not so thinking of others and being compassionate, are we? So clearly it's still there. Clearly it still comes out. So, and it did pop its head out here and there, and unfortunately it is quick to get there. So I did, I ordered an amazing inner child reading from Indigo Moon Healing, I think is what her channel is. And I had been wanting one, and it was really funny because after this trip, I was like, oh, yep, it's time to order one and just see where I'm at. Just a little check-in and stuff like that, and kind of have somebody who's really not in necessarily my community or who I normally follow all the time, but wanted to see what, she had to say. And it was, very much needed, and it was a great read for me, kind of gave me some insight. And she, immediately was like, you have anger you need to deal with. And I just said that on 11/11. So yeah, so it was great to have some neutral party kind of give me some guidance on what I needed to do. And my, I call her Shelly, my inner self, because when I was little, that was my name, was Shelly. So I definitely have been, again, like I said, my DM is back in my life and everything kind of gets put on hold. So, like I said, I wish I had done a lot more work. I did a lot of work. I don't want to take away that credit because I busted ass, with my work, and a lot. And I was very dedicated to that work. And like they say, a little success you got to be careful with. And that's what happened was, your DM comes back in your life and it's all him and 3D and and I'm seeing that, those triggers, and having to work on that. But definitely, I really, as much as I still, did my meditations and trying to be in my bliss and trying to be in the now, I really let Shelly down, and I really did let her kind of step aside and didn't keep up with her. So it's all her now. So I need to go back and work with her and not abandon her again, because obviously these triggers that were happening it was it's the triggers of abandonment, my worthiness, and these breadcrumbs, and I know that's a mirror and a reflection of the issues that my childhood wounds, and clearly they're not healed, and there's still work to be done, and I knew that, but I need to do them, not just knowing, it's actually doing them. And some people that were in the community, Jojo and Erica are really digging deep, and I think that as much inner child work as I have done, I haven't dug deep like they have, and they are having some amazing progress, and I want to be able to do the same thing. And I know my worthiness on so many levels, but when it comes to my DM, he still triggers that in me. So I just wanted to kind of do a little check-in with that. Another thing that I did want to say, which is amazing for people who, I just want to share this with people who, may not have their DM right now in the 3D with them and question about the twin flame journey. Because I do it all the time. As much as I know. I just know. I can't explain it. I just know. And I don't want to explain it to anybody else in this world who's not in this community. They can never understand. But it was amazing because, my DM and I, we do cuddle. And sometimes I kind of wonder, it's like, does he cuddle with me? Because when we cuddle, it's so electrifying. It's charging. It is as if I am charging my cell phone in the charger. It's just like a recharge, and and it feels like home to me. And I think that's why I even struggle more about this friend plus zone, because when we cuddle and we lay in each other's arms, that's home, and it's hard not to act like home. So I just wanted to mention that charge, you just don't get that from anywhere else. You get that from your twin. Another thing I do want to say, because I do want to give myself credit for the work I've done and how far I've come, because I'm an Aries, I'm a fire sign, and I am fiery. And on our last trip, we flew into Colorado, and we had some things happen to us on our trip back to the airport, and we were beyond late. I kept asking the divine and the universe, please watch over us, please make us, let us catch our plane. My DM is freaking out. Freaking, because we were, I mean, let me just tell you this. We checked in our bags. They set an alarm off saying like how late we were. We checked our bags in at 5:10. Our flight left at 5:14 and we made it. If you don't want to say we didn't have angels behind us, boy, did we have angels with us the entire way to that airport and all the way onto that plane. And it was funny because the entire way to the airport and I mean, everywhere in the airport, I was seeing 333 and 444. You know, the angels are with you, you know, and they sure were. But the best part, and I want to give myself credit because this is huge, and only because of this work that I have done, I can say that I did this, was my DM was freaking out, getting angry, frustrated, just, I mean, a ball of fire. And I was just like, oh boy, here it comes, because this is when we fight, you know. I put my arm around him and I kept saying, we got this, we got this. And he kept, we're never gonna make it, we're never gonna make it. I'm like, you gotta think positive. We're gonna make it. We are gonna make it. You know, think positive. We got this, we got this. And I kept, you know, just rubbing his arm and, you know, I'm like, take deep breaths. Come on, we can do this. And we worked as a team, and it was amazing to see his level of anger and frustration come down, even as though it's like, you could not have gotten into a more frustrating situation than that. And I was able to help him maintain that anger and frustration. And he was just so beyond, like when we got on that airplane, he turned around with the biggest smile on his face and completely high-fived me and thanked me for the teamwork and all that I had done. And I was like, and then I said, it was so funny, I'm like, I knew we had it, babe. And I was like, oh, I mean, I must have had the biggest, like, whoops, you know, because we don't call each other pet names, like, and it's just so hard not to call him that, because that's what I've always called him for 9 years, or off and on for 9 years. But oh well, I did it. I said it. So anyways, you know, like I said, I am just really detaching right now, and because I feel like I need to, I've really seen my codependency really come to a all-time low, which I'm so grateful for, because I was so codependent before, and I'm really seeing that now. And really just pulling away and just knowing that everything is going to be okay, but that everything is going to be better if I do my work and if I heal. And because it's my perspective that I get what I visually see from him. And I'll tell you that when I think one way, I get the negative. When I think a positive way, I get the positive. And so as much as it is difficult detaching and worrying, I'm trying not to let that fear control me. I'm trying to let the love control me and let the healing control me and the situation. Not really control me, but control the situation. So we'll see. And, you know, I did start over again with Sophia's first ebook. I haven't started watching the videos yet. I'm almost done with the ebook, and I figured I just, you know what, I'm going to start at square one again, go back to the first program, revisit it, while I'm really working on my inner self, because the inner self, I think I needed to have it all over, kind of like a fresh start again with the first, because the second one really kicks your ass with the inner work and your self inner work. So I really kind of wanted to have that solid foundation again, and that just that information again. And then I'm really going to work hard on the inner self, and just that's where I'm at right now. Is it's about me and healing Shelly. And so I think Shelly and I are going to be spending a lot of time together. It's going to be a relationship for her and I, you know. And I need to, you know, in my video, my reading, Indigo said, you know, it's you and her. It's you guys have the attitude of it's the two of you against the world. And that's what we're going to do. You know, I'm going to be there for her, and so we can have a better future. So wish me luck, and I will definitely be checking in again. Sorry, I've been gone for a couple weeks. It's been a little bit hectic and trying to catch up for work. And I did want to say I'm so excited. I want to tell you guys, because I don't want to tell anybody else in the 3D. Some people, very close family, knows, but I've had a huge project that I have been going to school for 8 years. Or for the past 8 years, I have gone to 3 schools studying, and I'm almost at the very end of getting my certificate, through my state exam, without going into all the, you know, details of it. But I kind of stopped, and had the fear of like, I can't pass this exam and I'm just going to take this job, you know, because it's kind of like the step below of if I were to get this, you know, pass my state exam. And I've just kind of been living that lie. That's not who I am. It's not what I went to school with. It's not what I racked up all my student loans for. And it's not what my mission is. My mission is to help people. And in my role, I can kind of help people, but not to the level I want to help people. If I were to get the state exam, I could pass the state exam. I could help so many, many people and be able to do pro bono work by myself and not have to have a supervisor above me. And so I don't know what it was being in this peer group with, you know, Erica, the eSpot channel. These peer groups have been so amazing with these other twin flame people that are in the group as well. And they've inspired me to do this. And so I have decided that, you know what? I started this schooling this decade. I'm going to end it. I have now decided I am giving every waking moment to my studying for my state exam. I'm backing off my studying for my twin flame thing. I am, you know, every day still meditating, still working a little bit, but you know, it was a full-time job for me. So right now, until the end of December, full-time, I'm studying for my exam, and you know what? I'm just going to do it, because if I don't, I have until July 1st to take this exam, and I have to start the process all over again. I'm not doing that, and here's my thing. I want to start 2020 a whole nother way. I don't want to be in the same position in 2020. I want to end 2019. I started it with this program. I want to end it. And I just feel like it would be just the greatest gift I could give myself to end this decade. And so I'm going to try my best to keep checking in with you guys, and because I love this community and I want to help anybody who might be on the same path as I am, or, you know, to be able to give guidance or give hope to somebody that keep doing the work, and you are going to see progress. You are going to see improvement. So I will keep checking in, but just so you know, I am dedicating myself to the next 3 weeks, and I'm going to do this. And if it wasn't for this community, I wouldn't be saying that. So I mean, just thank you. I'm so grateful for where I am in life, and the best mom I could be, the best daughter. I have the amazing relationship with my parents. I've waited 40 plus years to have this relationship with my parents. It's amazing. And I could have never done it without this program with Sophia. So I hope that you guys will check out her channels and check out the playlist that she has, because even if you can't afford the program, which I know, you know, not everybody can afford that, but at least do the free videos, because it will get you somewhere, and it will get you progressing down this path that I feel like no matter what I do, I'm always going to get pulled back to it. So we might as well do the work and enjoy it instead of suffering all the time. So until the next video, I love you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.